Hello, students. Now we're going to start our science and technology section of our December month. So this is part one. So in the part one, we'll be discussing some of the diseases this time. Just like if you see part one of every month, I think from August month, if you see part one, so from August, if you see majority of the diseases in the part one, I've covered many of the diseases, right? And I'm thinking to do it because in science and technology, there is a big portion named as human health and disease, right? So we have to cover it. So in the part one, I'll be covering diseases. In the part two, I'll be covering some miscellaneous things, right? So let's start. So first is the rare diseases. So rare diseases are, they're also called as the orphan diseases, right? Why they're the rare diseases? First of all, it affects less people, and secondly, they become orphan because they affect less people. They become orphan because no treatment is available. Why no treatment is available? Majority of the they do not get the proper treatment. Why? Because the for example, the research and development on these diseases are less, especially if the diseases are prone to the tropical areas. So they are called as the tropical neglected disease as well, right? I've given a hint of you some of the diseases. So they are also known as the tropical neglected disease. So these are different kinds of things. For example, genetic diseases. So genetic diseases are relatively rare diseases. Okay, so WHO defines this rare diseases as a disorder or illness with prevalence of less or one or less among the 1,000 people. So among 1,000 people, if it is one or less than one, then it is a rare disease. Okay, and you will find many of the genetic diseases as the rare disease. Now, if you talk about here, you can see around 80% of the diseases occur at the birth and are genetic in nature. 50, and it affects the children the most. Children are most affected by the rare diseases. Okay, and it affects up to 96 million Indians. Okay, majority of the things you can see: thalassemia, sickle cell anemia, right? Now, why it was in the news? Why we need to study it? Because the government has suspended the national policy on the treatment of the rare disease, and after a lot of protest, it has been, the government has released, the ministry has released another draft of it. Okay, so let's start the journey from 2017. So Delhi High Court said that the India should have its own national policy on the treatment of the rare disease, right? Because as we have seen, around 100 millions of the Indians are affected by it. Okay, so it is suspended now, the earlier policy, right? Now after that, a lot of protest was going on by the people suffering from the rare diseases, and finally the government has released its draft. Okay, so the patient with the rare disease appealed to PM. You can see February 2019. So they were appealing, and January 20 they have released the draft of it. Draft for the rare disease is released. So Ministry of Health and Family Welfare have released a draft. Many of the disease we'll cover today: hemophilia, thalassemia, these things we'll cover. So what in the draft the policy says? So they have first of all decided the delineated the series into 3 areas. First one is the disease which require one-time curative treatment. That means if you get treatment once, you are fine. Second disease are those which are long run, but the cost is low. So cost of the treatment is low. And third thing, a long run, but the cost is high. Okay, so they've divided disease into these format. So they decided to make some institutional structure, such as national registry for the rare disease they will create. Okay, with ICMR. ICMR becomes important this year because of the COVID-19. So as an institution, we will read it somewhere. Okay, and they will provide the funding to the people as well. For example, people which are below the poverty line, they will get a one-time treatment cost of 15 lakh for certain treatable disease which can be treated. Also, the Ayushman Bharat and that is under the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Abhiyan, they were covering many people under this disease as well. Okay, so government has also said that crowdfunding can be used for the, because you have seen many of the diseases now coming on the crowdfunding. For example, you must have seen many appeals to the people through Facebook, Twitter, or different platforms, where the people are promoting that my son, daughter, or XYZ is facing this problem, it needs certain operation. And many of the appeals also become successful. So they raise certain amount of money and the operation does happen, right? May the frauds also happen in that area, but irrespective of that, crowdfunding, the draft policy says that we will have a crowdfunding, we'll try a crowdfunding mechanism for the rare diseases. Okay, so this is the orphan and the rare disease and the policy. Now we'll discuss some of the genetic diseases. First one is which are the normal genetic diseases: sickle cell anemia, thalassemia, hemophilia, and Turner syndrome. So we'll discuss these four genetic diseases. Genetic diseases, from the name itself, that pass from the one generation to the another. So first is thalassemia. So what is in thalassemia happens? The RBC becomes malformed, right? So RBC problem happens. So our a reduction of the production of the hemoglobin. So hemoglobin production reduces, right? And when the production reduces, then what happens? RBC is destroyed. When the RBC is destroyed, the problems like anemia happens. Anemia is the less hemoglobin or less RBC in our blood. So symptoms are dark urine, fatigue, pale skin, and all these things. Okay, so this is thalassemia. So what it requires regular blood transfusion for the prolonged life. So many of the precautions it are said that prevention should be there. For example, always maintain a good hemoglobin level, right? Then always get the testing first. We have already discussed one initiative, Umeed initiative. The government has said that we will do the prevention better than cure philosophy for genetic diseases. So if we are able to track people who are having these genetic diseases, then they will be tested and they will take care of themselves. They will not let themselves in that situation when they become a very serious problem happens to them. So they will always keep the hemoglobin in check. They will always get it tested like that. Okay, so this is that. So thalassemia is considered under the disability under the Right to Disability Act. So under this particular disease has been considered under the as a part of the disability under this particular act. So we need to remember that. Okay, right. So one of the home remedies, such as I told you, so consume more calcium, zinc, and all these things. Next is sickle cell anemia. This is important. Okay, so you have to understand the sickle cell anemia. So what is sickle cell anemia? In which in this, so normally what is our hemoglobin is very round, is smooth, disc shape, and flexible. So when our hemoglobin is in this shape, it becomes so easy to pass through our blood veins. Okay, sorry, this is hemoglobin, I'm sorry. So this is the hemoglobin. When hemoglobin is like this, then the RBC is of normal shape. This is the shape of RBC. When the hemoglobin itself is a normal shape. Now when the distortion in the shape of the hemoglobin happens, for example, hemoglobin becomes like this. Earlier it was round, shape, flexible. Now hemoglobin becomes like this. Then our RBC becomes abnormal. When our RBC becomes abnormal, the flow of the RBC in the blood becomes tough. You can see they stuck up here. So earlier, if they are smooth, they can flow really quickly. So they find a C shape. So from C shape, this sickle cell name has been given. So you can see in the normal case, what happens? The RBCs are flowing very smoothly here. But in the sickle cell, what happens? They become sickle shape and their passage becomes a issue. Right? So this is sickle cell anemia. And because of that, the blood in our body, the hemoglobin reduces, right? Proper supply of blood is not there, then the problem of anemia happens. So this is called sickle cell anemia. Okay, okay, you can read about this. They, for example, is abnormally sticky hemoglobin clump together and distort the shape of the RBC, and because of the C shape it becomes sickle cell anemia. Next is hemophilia. So hemophilia affects the majority. Males are more affected by hemophilia. We will discuss why also. So hemophilia. So what is the hemophilia? Basically, this is normal blood vessels. So for example, some injury happens and some blood outlash is there. Then quickly what happens? Clotting happens. So clot happens and it becomes to the normal shape, right? So it can be said to be a natural mechanism within our own body, so that if we are affected by we are affected by some physical injury, if the blood is spilling, then the clotting will happen and will become normal. However, with hemophilia, what will happen? This ability, the ability to clot becomes defunct. It becomes inability to clot. So a lot of blood, if you get a disease, if you get a physical injury, then a lot of blood will be spilled, right? So it will lead to prolonged bleeding, right? So this is that. So that is why it is suggested to the people with hemophilia that they should avoid physical injuries that can cause injuries and result bleeding like this. Okay, and also they should get tested first. Important thing in hemophilia is that it is a X-linked regressive pattern, like they are genetically diseased and these conditions are located in the X chromosome. Now I'll make you understand. Now for example, women have XX chromosome and men have XY chromosome. I think this is the very basic layman things we know, right? So if a person is having X chromosome, as problem hemophilia happens in the X chromosome only. Okay, so for women to become to have hemophilia, their both X have to be infected. So if both X are infected, then women will face the problem of hemophilia. However, in the men, if only one X, because only one X is there, if that X is infected, they become a they face the problem of hemophilia. Getting my point? So it becomes tough for women for both of X to get infected. Whereas in the men there is only one X, so if that one X is getting infected, then they'll become a hemophilia. They will face hemophilia. That is why in the male it is predominant. You can see here. So it's a genetic disease. So in the father-mother scenario, so if the father has hemophilia and mother is unaffected, so father has both X and Y and his X is affected and mother XX are unaffected, then it will be very less probability for the hemophilia in the child, because you can see X of female are both fine. So in which the X of female goes, they are no hemophilia in it, because Y of father has come, Y has nothing to do with hemophilia, so no hemophilia here. Here also only one X is there, so they are in the daughters. In fact, in the daughter one X is there, so they will be having a hemophilia gene, but they will not be facing the problem of hemophilia. So they will be a carrier gene. So when they will mate with another male, then their children may have possibility of having it. However, they will not be facing the problem of hemophilia because their both X are not affected. So all the daughters will carry the hemophilia gene. Okay, and here you can see here, if the mother is infected by hemophilia, then you can see here this boy, right? This boy will become one of the two child will face the problem of the hemophilia. Okay, so this is the problem. This is the way it passes from one generation to the another. Just remember, it is a X-linked chromosome. So if the one chromosome of X in the women, both of X are there, men X and Y are there. So even if one X is infected, they will face the problem of hemophilia. In women, if one X is there, then they will carry the gene. They will not face the problem of the hemophilia. They will carry the gene, and the next generation, in their son, when they will mate with the other male, then the son, it can be the problem of hemophilia can be found. Getting my point? Right. So let's discuss the Turner syndrome. So what is Turner syndrome? It is for the women. So in women, when the chromosomal disease which affects only women. So what happens? One of the sex chromosome is missing. So when the sex chromosome is missing in the women, you can see the problem, the development that happens because of the sex genes, sex chromosome that will be there. For example, short height, ovaries, failure of the ovaries to develop, heart defects, right? Pubic hairs will not be there, and all these things, right? Minimal breast development. So these things which are affected by the sex organs or the sex chromosome, which will not be there, right? So now it has been said that awareness has to be raised for the people, for the women which are facing the Turner syndrome. Okay, so one of the X is missing, X chromosome is missing. It is said in 1 out of the 2,500 living female, this problem is there. In fact, one person does not know about it, then what problem he or she faces? She faces like social ridicule and all these problems she faces, because she does not know that she has a Turner syndrome, and because of that problem, it is manifesting in the poor growth of the girl, right? Okay. Next, so I just wanted to highlight the Umeed initiative. So already we have done in the August month this Umeed initiative, August or September, if you can see in the governance area. So Umeed initiative was for the unique method for the management treatment of the inherited disorder. So this initiative has been taken for the idea that prevention is better than cure. If people know that they have hemophilia, if people know that they have thalassemia, people know that they have sickle cell anemia, then they can cure it. They can take the medication, they can take the precaution. So for that, they have set up Nidan centers. Okay, so some Nidan center, that is national inherited, you can see Nidan centers, national inherited disease administration kendra. So they have set up some Nidan centers where this can be done, testing can be done. Okay, comprehensive clinical care. I think we have covered this, that is why I put it in a revision slide. Next, we're going to discuss triple drug therapy. So triple drug therapy is given, we have already discussed triple drug therapy, but very specifically we are discussing here with respect to WHO has decided triple drug therapy. The question will come, it is related to which disease? So it is related to the elephantiasis, lymphatic filariasis, sorry, not elephant. It is connected with the lymphatic filariasis. It is also called as the elephantiasis. Hathi pav bolte hain. It is called elephant legs. Right, it's a neglected tropical disease. I told you about neglected tropical disease. So disease that are affecting the tropical areas, but in for which the drugs are not proper available, because many of the countries where the maximum research takes place, they do not pay attention to the diseases of these areas. Right, why they think why they should pay attention to the disease of the third world countries or the tropical countries. And majority of the tropical countries are not very developed. Right, so we have already discussed lymphatic filariasis, so nothing to be discussed there. So just remember, if the question of triple drug therapy comes, so it is related to the elimination of lymphatic filariasis by 2021. So India has decided to eliminate the disease by 2021. So this is that. So already we have discussed, it is not caused by the, remember, it is caused by the parasite, and it's a vector borne disease. Okay, it's a vector borne disease caused by the parasites, filarial parasite transmitted to human through mosquitoes. Okay, and majority of the things we have seen, right? So please see that. So we have to eliminate it by 2021. Right, Achha, what I'm saying, please see that, that means they are already there in the previous month Science and Tech, and also Science and Tech or in the other. So all the PPTs are available in our Telegram channel in the form of the PDFs. These PPTs what you're seeing, please use this PPT for the revision purposes. The whole idea is to remember the current affair through image format, so that retainability is very high. Now I will try to, as I am doing in this previous sessions, I am trying to make sure to include the previous times things here, so that you are able to connect with the previous year current affair, and we are able to create a link between the previous year current affair and this time, previous time current affair and this time, so that retainability is high. Okay, let's move forward. Let us discuss HIV a bit. So HIV is basically, HIV is from, that is a virus, that is human immunodeficiency virus, and this virus affects our immune system. Right, this virus directly impacts our immune system. So if we are having HIV virus, it will target our immune system, and it will weaken our defense system. Right, first thing is that. Now what is HIV AIDS? AIDS is a condition which is developed by the HIV if you have HIV for the longer period. For example, you have, if infected by the HIV, now HIV, just like COVID, so 1 to 14 days you will not face any symptom, right? Like it may happen till 14 days you will not face many symptom. In fact, 80% of the cases people are registering COVID positive which are not facing any symptoms. So with respect to HIV also, so you have HIV, so it slowly inside you, it destroys your immune system, your defense system, and it leads to the stage finally which is called AIDS, which is called acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So in which you will have immunodeficiency and you have the problem of AIDS, and that can happen from 2 to 15 years if you have HIV virus. Getting my point? So advanced stage of the HIV is called the AIDS. It is not the other way around. So you will not get the AIDS in the first day. You will get the HIV virus, then you will face the problem of the AIDS later on. First thing is that. Second thing is that when someone is infected with HIV, then as immune system decreases, then it becomes vulnerable to the other viruses, specifically hepatitis. I will discuss hepatitis in detail in coming months, because hepatitis is very important. UPSC in the previous 10 years have asked 3 questions on the hepatitis. So we'll discuss hepatitis in detail, don't worry about it. So many of the problems you will find along with the HIV. Many of the hepatitis patients you will find hepatitis B or C. Okay, so that is that. Also, how HIV has spread. So many of the, if you see many of the advertisements that have come in the TV or in the newspaper, that HIV does not spread if you eat with the person. So it is not like a COVID. So COVID, because of the very infectious disease, HIV is not an infectious disease. It will spread if there is a body fluid exchange, body fluid in terms of the vaginal secretion or semen, right? Unprotected sex, then blood, breast milk it happens. That is why we will see problem of the mother to child transmission of the HIV. Okay, also one more thing, if you have other STD, if you have other sexually transmitted disease, then the probability of having the HIV or is increased, right? So if you are infected by the other STD, your probability of getting infected by the HIV increased. Why I'm telling you these facts? Because we will solve a question after discussing the hepatitis next time or next to next time, when I'll be discussing all the previous year 3 to 4 previous year question I'll be discussing with you, right? Okay, let's move. So next is mother to child transmission have been seen of the HIV. In fact, NACO, that is National AIDS Control Organization, estimates that around 29 in a pregnancy, around 35,000 cases of the HIV positive comes. So remember, mother to child transmission does takes place. Okay, right. So let's quickly recap for the HIV. So HIV medicines which are there, antiretroviral therapy it is called. We'll discuss that. So ART it is called. ART does not help in the curing the HIV. There is no cure of HIV. However, it can help people to live with HIV longer. So it will delay the AIDS. The condition of the AIDS will be delayed, right? So it will prevent HIV from advancing to the AIDS. So just remember what is the difference between HIV and AIDS. Okay, I hope now you know. So with respect to India, we have 0.26% of the adult population infected by HIV. In previous current affairs, I have told that HIV prevalence is highest in which state in India? Mizoram. As we told you that many of the HIV are blood transmission, right? The body liquids transmission, and that is why the drugs, problem of the drugs, and wherever you will find the problem of the drugs, you will find the transmission of the HIV very high, right? It is mainly found in the female sex worker. Like many of the time it is found in very high as compared to 0.26% of the normal population. You'll find it in prevalence with respect to female sex worker, men who had sex with men, like hijra, transgenders, and these people, those who are inject drugs, right? Okay. So it depends upon our depends upon the prevalence, depends upon the rural urban divide, and all these things you can see. I want to highlight this. So with ART, we have seen many of the we have seen decline in the AIDS death. So people who are declining with the AIDS, the decline of the death has seen because of the ART. So it has prolonged their life, as we were discussing. What is ART then? Antiretroviral therapy. So if the question comes antiretroviral therapy, so it is related to the HIV AIDS problem, right? So it is effectively suppressing the virus, reducing the transmission from HIV to the from the infected person, right? So if you are having a ART, that is a combination of the HIV medications. So it will save life but does not cure HIV. So remember that first of all. So reduces the HIV in our amount. Next, it reduces the risk from one person to the other. It reduces the risk of the HIV transmission, right? Prevents HIV from advancing to the AIDS, obviously, and protects our immune system so that we are not infected by the other disease, so that our mortality is reduced. Okay, so this is one. We have already discussed HIV in detail because 1st December was World AIDS Day. So a lot of awareness goes on. If you've seen this ribbon, you must have seen, right? Okay, let's move forward. So there is a child-friendly HIV drug. As I told you, mother-to-child transmission also happens. So there is a child drug that is lopinavir or rotavir. So this is a child, and it was in the news because some production is stopped because of the non-payment by the health ministry. Not important. Just remember that there is a syrup named lopinavir. So that is a child-friendly HIV drug. It's not important to me, honest. Okay, right. Next is 1919 anti-target. So 1919 anti-targets are related to the AIDS. Okay, so it's a UN-AIDS, the leading UN agency that coordinates the battle against the HIV. Okay, so that's a United Nations body. So what are the 1919 anti things they have said? So they have said by 2020, 90% of the people who have HIV, so out of the 100 people who have HIV, 90% should know their HIV status. So first, awareness. Second, 90% who are diagnosed with HIV should receive an antiretroviral therapy. So they will have 90% should have antiretroviral therapy. And out of these, those who are having antiretroviral therapy, out of those 90%, they should have some sort of viral suppression. That means the HIV's potency is reduced on those 90%. So just remember, if the question will come very easy, what is 90-90-90 target? Is related to the AIDS, HIV AIDS, right? Okay, so theme of this year AIDS was ending the HIV AIDS epidemic community by community. Okay, right. Chalo. Okay, sorry. Let's move forward. Next is malaria. So Malaria Elimination Research Alliance India. So our ICMR has launched MERA India, that is Malaria Elimination Research Alliance India. So it will be a conglomeration of the partners, different stakeholders who will prioritize, plan and scale up research to eliminate the disease by 2030. Okay, so the idea is to make India malaria free by 2030. Why we want to reduce the disease? Obviously, when we'll have the eradication of the disease, then only we'll be able to achieve proper human capital, isn't it? If someone is infected by the disease, then how will we be able to contribute productivity to the economy? Okay, so you can see overall we are winning the fight against the malaria. Our cases are reducing, deaths are reducing, but still we still have to eliminate the disease itself. Okay, now quickly we'll see about malaria. So it's a life-threatening disease caused by the parasite. So not a disease caused by the bacteria or the virus, but by a parasite. Okay, infected through it's a vector-borne disease that is infected through the Anopheles mosquito. So we need to know that which are the vector-borne disease and which are not. Okay, so many of the species of parasites are there which infect the malaria. It is both preventable and curable. Okay, so for malaria vaccine, one of the things we need to know about malaria vaccine, first of all, it is very tough to make a malaria vaccine. Why? Because the parasites, which it's not there in the slide, so please listen to it. The parasite which infect, which is the causing agent for the malaria, it naturally changes itself versus the vaccine. So if you develop a vaccine against the malaria, it will change itself. So this parasite is very smart, we should say. So this parasite changes itself with respect to vaccine. And you know how vaccine works, I believe. Vaccine works on the memory based formula. So they will give you a attenuated version of the virus, very small weak version of the virus. It will develop immunity in your body. So when the immunity in your body is developed by vaccine, then finally when the real virus comes, so our immunity fights against the real virus. And that is the concept behind vaccine, very easy concept. So when the parasite itself changes it, then what happens? It becomes tough to develop vaccine which can change along with it, right? So that is one of the problems with the vaccines we are facing with the malaria. Okay, one question has been asked in UPSC, I'll try to cover it once somewhere, that why it is difficult to make a malaria vaccine. So that is the answer, because the natural infection happens, and because of that the malaria, the parasite itself, it changes itself. Okay, so it can be also transmitted through organ transplant, transfusion and shared needle and syringes, because it is transmitted by the blood. Okay, right. So recently a vaccine has been tried, RTSS, that is in the Malawi. They have tried 2 years back, but again this vaccine is also showing very partial success. Not a very high level of success is shown by this particular vaccine. But if the question comes, what is this vaccine, RTSS, so it is a malaria vaccine. Okay, so the question comes, there is no vaccine to malaria, so answer will be no. There is a vaccine to malaria, but it is very difficult to produce vaccine for the malaria. With respect to India, so India around has 3% of the global cases of malaria. However, the Southeast Asia has the 87% of the total global cases. Okay, so India has its own national framework for malaria elimination. We said by 2030 we want to eliminate, and we have a strategic plan also for malaria by 2022. They are in collaboration with the WHO, right? As I told you, malaria we are doing well. So India reported the highest absolute decrease in the number of the malaria cases. So that is that. So every year WHO comes out with the World Malaria Report. Just like it comes out World TB Report last time we have discussed, right? So similarly, it comes out with World Malaria Report. So it says that India is having a 3% of the share. Largest share is by the Nigeria, 25%. That is why you can see the vaccine was developed in Marawi. Why? Because a lot of cases in the African countries. So what is this global? Just remember, not too much important because it's very clear cut. That WHO Global Technical Strategy for Malaria 2016 to 2030. Obviously, it will be of WHO. So what are the different targets? So different target you can see here. Malaria control program, and these are targets. So reducing malaria incidence cases by 90%, mortality rate by 90%, eliminating malaria in 35 countries, and all this. Okay, so this is that. So these are the two medicine which were in the news with respect to TB. So one is malaria, anti-malaria medicine, that is chloroquine. So this chloroquine medicine is for malaria, and we have discussed this anti-TB drug, isoniazid. So this is an antibiotic used for the TB. So what they're trying, scientists are trying the combination of these two drugs for the versus the TB, right? So that was in the news. That is why we are covering. Okay. So you can see combination of TB drugs isoniazid can almost clear all the bacteria from the lungs of mice and guinea pig because they are being tested on them, obviously, and it is becoming important. It can be an important tool to remove the TB because TB incidence is also very high. India also, specifically in India. Right, so these are the things. That's the end of the session. So as we always do, international relation, I missed out on it, so we will revise it quickly. So we started with the rare diseases. We talked about how WHO defines it. I've discussed the idea of rare diseases with orphan diseases and neglected tropical diseases. Then we talked about policy, how it was. Delhi High Court said that we should have a policy. Then we had a policy that was suspended. Then a demand came, and finally we have a draft policy for rare diseases. Then we have discussed in detail about some genetic diseases, that is sickle cell anemia, thalassemia, hemophilia and Turner syndrome. Thalassemia and sickle cell anemia more related to the RBC. Then hemophilia is related to the blood clotting and mostly with respect to the males, and Turner syndrome with respect to the females. So you need to keep that important, especially the X-linked chromosome thing. So if a tough question will be asked, it will be asked from here. Okay, the next is triple duct therapy. So triple duct therapy done for the lymphatic filariasis. Then we talked about HIV. So HIV, we talked about difference between HIV and the AIDS, how HIV leads to the AIDS, and how mother-child transmission also takes place. Antiretroviral therapy, treatment for the HIV, not for the cure, but for the treatment to prolong the life of the people. Then we discussed 90 targets. Then we discussed MERA, that is Malaria Elimination Research Alliance. We want to finish malaria by 2030. We want to finish lymphatic filariasis by 2021. Remember that. Then we discussed we discussed two of the drugs, and finally we discussed something about malaria also, malaria report. And with this, we are done with our session part 1 of our science and tech. Okay, science and tech part 1 is over. In the part 2 specifically, I'll discuss one thing: some of the NASA's interplanetary mission. That means only the missions to the other planets of our solar system, right? So I'll be very specific, and I will try to give you the framework for many of the missions, including ISRO, NASA was ESA, European Space Agency, like that, so that you don't have to go to any other source. You don't have to go. I'll provide you the compilation. Please stick with us, and we will do all the needful things, right? Okay, then see you in the next class, everyone. Thank you.